Let's get back to the politics over the punani. We losing focus. Who tapping in? Who tapping in on this black on black love? How you doing, B?
What's going on?
I'm doing all right. That's Sister Kiera. What's your take on black love? Why we got so many young couples divorcing out here? What's the problem?
I think they're marrying too soon.
Why do you say
I
they
think
marry?
that's what. I think we need to go back to arranged marriages. What you think?
Arranged marriage where the parents choose. I'm not against it if you're marrying virgins. If you're marrying virgins, arranged marriage is perfect because you have nothing to compare her to. You have nothing to compare him to. So if we stop fucking before marriage, I think arranged marriage would be perfect and it would work. The reason arranged marriages were so successful is because they were marrying virgins. Now, will arranged marriage work between non-virgins? I don't know about that because you already have a preference. You already have certain likes and dislikes. You already have certain biases. I don't know if it can work for experienced people because if your mother and father choose somebody who don't do certain things you like to do, who don't present with certain qualities you want, I don't see how it can work with people who are experienced. I think it would be tough.
Yeah. That was my point. I'm saying like to actually fix what's going on right now.
Oh yeah, if we started with the children, if we started with the children,
yeah.
If we say every child under 18 still a virgin, because you know teenagers they be losing if they still a virgin under 18, it's going to be an arranged marriage. That would help heal the community. That hands down, that would help heal the community for the children. And that's probably something we need to look at. But here's a question for you. I'm going to push it back because you brought up a good topic. Do you think black parents, here's my question for you. Do you think black parents are comfortable with an arranged marriage? Because remember now, if I'm going to arrange my daughter's marriage, if I'm choosing her future husband, if the shit don't work, she gonna blame daddy. Do you think we're willing to take that responsibility on as parents? Are parents mature enough to handle the responsibility of choosing their children's future mates?
Yes, but I think everyone needs to be involved. I think the grandparents, more of like the older generation, they need to have like more so like the final say so. But I feel like as long as you explain to your daughter or son what's really going on, everything will be okay. I think it all goes into just explain communication. They'll understand that.
I got. Now
It's just back to culture. I think if that becomes our culture again,
right,
as the youth will understand, like they might not have gotten everything right on the first choice, but sometimes it just takes trial and error. I guess I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you this: if you had a magic wand and you could eliminate one problem a lot of black men have that leads to failed relationships, and you could eliminate one problem that a lot of black women have that leads to a failed relationship, what would be the one problem you would eliminate for the women, and what would be the one problem you would eliminate for the men? If you could eliminate this.
I'll just give one for both, not knowing what we want.
Okay, go ahead.
But it really just comes down to we just out here just freely dating, just not really knowing what it is that we want. And then we end up making the wrong decisions or going into something, expecting something else, but you didn't even
lost the value of sexual intimacy. We don't value it. Sexual intimacy is no longer sacred for black America. Would you say that's correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. I can see that. Sex is more of a commodity than it's more of a commodity than a value, than a force. Than more of a commodity than, what's the word I'm looking for? Than a principle. You see. So I can see you on that. I can see you on that. You have very old-fashioned, although correct, I agree with it, but you have very old-fashioned views for such a young woman. Why is that? Is that your mother? Is that your your views are more traditional than women your age. Why? On
Oh, you
relationships.
talking about me personally?
Yes. Like
Um,
when you brought up arranged marriage, most women your age are not bringing that up as a solution. So where do you get that traditional perspective on black heterosexual love?
really putting me on the spot now. I don't want to tell them about. Well, I'm gonna say this. I didn't really grow up in a traditional household. I come from a family where a lot of siblings, all of us different dads. There wasn't many marriages in my family as well. But when I would look at, like, I grew up in the church as well. So I looked at the couples that was in the church that was married for many, many years. And I saw how things was a lot easier. I understand everything might have, been different behind closed doors and it might not have been perfect. But it just far as maneuvering through society, it looked like it was a lot easier. So I would look at that and say, okay, that's what I want when I grow up. And I would just model after them.
One
Whatever. So I
question.
would ask like when I was younger, I would ask a lot of questions on just how people life became to where it is at that time. And so I would tell them, okay, this is what I need to do to get what they have.
Powerful. Another
Yeah.
question for you. Uh, are black women too materialistic? A lot of men complain that the sisters are too materialistic. They want a lifestyle that a lot of black men cannot provide.
No, I
True
think
or
you're
not?
gonna what it is that you're putting out. I mean, maybe they're just attracting those type of women because deep down inside, that's what they may like as well.
In other words, he would not be with a materialistic woman if he didn't attract one into his life.
Right, right.
Well said. Well
Um,
said.
realistic. We're not.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you for tapping in, Queen. Great info, Kiera. Great info.
You. Oh, wait. I,
Who we got next to tap in? Who we got next to tap in? Who we got next to tap in? Where you at, Naima?
Hi, I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina.
All right. How old are you, Naima?
I'm 19 years old. I go to A&T. I'm a junior.
Oh, congratulations. Keep it up. What you major in, princess?
I'm a psych major.
Just like me. Okay. Now, you a young sister, 19, just getting started in the dating world. What are your biggest concerns as a 19-year-old HBCU princess? What is your biggest concerns about finding a strong black man who will love you the way you need to be loved, with whom you could build a future and have children with? What are your concerns just now entering into the relationship dynamic?
So I feel like Black people as a whole, we have become so enveloped into white culture, like subconsciously, that we have adopted their sense of love. So we become materialistic, superficial, and we don't really know what we want because we don't really know ourselves. Like, we don't know our spirit. We don't have any true sense of spirituality. We're just a reflection of what we see in media and white culture, and all that is like designer, cars, money, shoes. So the woman, she's looking for a man to satisfy her financial desires, and the men, they're looking for like a transactional type of relationship. Like, okay, she looks really good, all she wants is some items from me. I can give her the items, and then I can still be who I want to be on the side. And so because we don't have no true sense of like original culture, we're just okay with being in these like transactional relationships that aren't real, because Black people are a people of love. Like, we don't need all the extra stuff, but we've been manipulated into believing that we do.
That's a powerful point. Let me ask you this. Brothers your age, HBCU brothers, are they also caught up in the whole hip hop materialism type of thing? Are the brothers extremely materialistic, or do you feel they're trying to go back to grassroots, more of a neo soul type energy? Or are the HBCU brothers on campus, are they really materialistic? Where do you see them at? Are they more on the earth centered type brothers, or the materialistic brothers? How they operating these days?
So I come from, like, I moved around a lot as a child, and I just come from like impoverished communities. So, there's hood culture, but then when I moved to A&T, I realized that there's like a suburban type of Black culture as well. and they actually look up to the hood culture. Like, they don't be like, oh, I came from better circumstances, I'm going to do better. They turn around, look at the rappers, and they want to walk around with shiesty masks with their hands in their pockets, looking suspicious, like selling drugs. They want to do drugs. Like, they're not on like a better wave. They're actually looking to the culture that we're trying to get away from, which is crazy to me too. So
Wow. Wow. And what is dating life like on an HBCU? Unfortunately, I attended 3 PWIs. I wanted to go to an HBCU, couldn't afford it, was going to go to Howard for my doctorate. They took forever to send me the application. But what is dating life like on an HBCU camp? Is it like one big orgy, or like, are they committed relationships? Like, talk to me about the dating culture on the HBCU.
it's basically one big orgy. So I want to say it's
Shut up.
10.
You better be quiet. You better be quiet.
I want to say it's 10 women to one man on my campus.
Wow,
And
I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that, Queen.
mhm,
The male to
mhm.
female ratio on the HBCU campus. I didn't think of that. So you saying that Carolina A&T is one brother to 10 queens?
Yes.
How do y'all navigate that? Is that a lot? Does that lead to a lot of pettiness amongst the sisters, or is it a thing where the sisters say, "Okay, it's only 1 to 10, we gonna share," or is it a thing where a lot of sisters just end up dating brothers who don't go to college?
So, I mean, it's my third year at A&T. So now I kind of just stay more in the house. But when I was outside, it was more of like a sharing situation. And like, as a female, you kind of just gotta like act like you're okay with it, because like you don't really have a choice. So like, you may like him, but there might be 10 other women or 9 other women that also want him. And men nowadays aren't, especially college men, aren't thinking out of self-control. They're thinking out of pleasure and like, what do I want to do? And then everybody on A&T campus wants to look their best all the time. So you got 9 other beautiful women, and he's gonna go for at least 5 out of the 9 if you're lucky.
Lord, oh Lord, are you?
Yeah, so it's a lot of just sharing, circular rotations.
Oh, man, I forgot about the male-female ratio at the HBC. Wow, so it's really tough then for the sisters. It almost sounds like, wow, that is tough. That is tough. You know, that is real. I never looked at it like that, Queen. I never looked at it like that. Now, let me ask you this. My last question, I'm gonna let you go, and you've given some very good answers. How does that impact you all, you sisters? How does outnumbering black males on the HBCU campus positively or negatively impact y'all when y'all date after college? In other words, when y'all leave college, do y'all already have your mind made up that most black men ain't nothing but dogs, or does that not really bias you? I'm assuming it has to be some kind of an effect on you when you go through that for 4 or 5 years of undergrad and now you walk into the real world. Does that play a role in the relationship struggles that we have with our sisters?
I love my black people, so I like to think that there's still, hope out there. But I would find myself having that type of mindset, like just feeling hopeless about like the future and dating in the future, because it's like women also, we aren't perfect, but I feel like I see more men that really have fallen farther off of the masculinity crown because of, systematic oppression, all that stuff. Like, they're not to blame, but I do definitely see more men making it harder to date nowadays than the women. And then they go for women that are materialistic and superficial, which makes other women want to be like the women that are materialistic and superficial. So it's just like no one's really getting any better, just running around circles.
Oh, wow. Well said, Queen. Thanks for the input. And don't forget, I want you to go for your doctorate now. When you're done undergrad, don't be taking a whole bunch of time off. Hot
I'm
breath.
not.
The worst thing you can do is let a whole bunch of years go by before you go for that doctorate. Go for it ASAP. And good luck to you out there.
Of course. Thank you. All right.
She was very well spoken, Queen. Steel City Blue. Where you at, King?
I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm in Florida right now.
What
Peace.
part of Florida, black man?
Right outside Orlando in Ocala.
Okay, you might need to drive up to the Brendan Depper protest we're going to have up in Bunnell on January 31st.
Okay, that's peace.
You
That's
know,
peace.
can come stand with us to try to support our young brother. But what's your take, black man, on the black on black heterosexual love? The sisters kind of told us where the brothers are falling short and where the sisters are falling short. Where do you feel black men versus black women are falling short on black love?
I think it has to do with more of a compatibility in our raising of and how we was raised. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's no one thing that you can say that that we're breaking up. I think it has more to do with before we get in these relationships, is getting to know each other. You know, a lot of times we get in these relationships, we might just like one thing about this person, two things, but we don't overall know what we're getting into, you know.
Wow.
And I honestly believe black love is powerful, you know.
You think we might be moving too fast?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I am, you know, I mean, a victim of that. You know, I've been in relationships where I moved too fast with women and it didn't work out. So, yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons.
Now,
I just got out the show. I was rushing. I
nope.
seen you was on live.
Yes,
You
sir.
know,
Good.
to me, you do great work. You know, what I mean, I love what you're doing for our community. You know, I love the things you're pushing.
Appreciate
You know, I think though, with the divorces in our community, it is high. We got a high divorce rate in America, period.
we do.
So when it comes to the black community, you know what I mean? I think that a lot of times our examples that we look at from relationships is what hinders us. You know, a lot of times we go into relationships thinking, you know what I mean, how the other relationships we seen, you know what I mean, instead of actually going into relationships on what we love and what we like, you know. I
And
think that's a big part of
role of lust, my brother. When we talk about lusting after another person, I see a lot of relationships get destroyed over lust, bro. So it's not even that I think this woman would be a better wife. It's not even that. I'm purely so enamored by her fat ass or how sexy she is that I'm willing to risk my marriage just to sample that cookie over there. Why do you think we are so undisciplined sexually in terms of that lust factor? Talk to me about the lust, and women too. Women too, because you know I worked it,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. I like that you said that because to me it's not a man or a woman thing. I don't like us going against each other. I don't like us battling each other. I think that's one of the problems with society. A lot of times our black men and women are going against each other. We have to come together and stick together on a lot of stuff, man, because people want to separate us. I think we have to realize that. You know what I mean? And I think the temptations in which we fall for definitely hinders, you know, our way of thinking. It hinders our marriages. You know what I mean? It breaks families up. You know what I mean? Yeah, we definitely have to be more disciplined in our lustful actions. You know, I agree with that.
Great point. One more question for you, King. We don't have enough black men to go around. Heterosexual. We don't
Well,
have.
you know, black women outnumber our black men.
Right.
You
So
know?
my question to you is this: where do you stand on the introduction of polygyny into the black community, given the fact we brothers are brothers too immature to handle polygyny? Are sisters in too much competition with each other to join in on polygyny? Where do you think the bigger issue going to come? Are men going to abuse it? Are we going to abuse polygyny if sisters gave us that right? Or are sisters too jealous of one another to become a part of a plural relationship? What's your take on polygyny?
Let's see. You know, I studied, you know, religions. I actually used to practice Islam. So in their practice, you know, having more than one wife, you know, is a way of their religion. I'm not Muslim, but you know, polygamy is something that goes back to me with the compatibility. You know what I mean? It goes back to if you know you and your partner or partners can agree and come to an understanding and still be able to keep that love. You know, which is hard. I'm gonna be honest. I don't honestly, our society now, our Black communities now, I don't believe, you know, it's a lot of dysfunction. To me, it would be more of, it would be jealousy. It would be a lot of jealousy, man. And then with me, I'm gonna look at it from my standpoint, because I don't want to speak on it from and talk about the way others may feel. From my standpoint, I just want one woman. You know what I mean? I believe one woman.
Now, when you say that, are you being honest, my king? And the reason I'm saying, because a lot of brothers will say, I only want one.
Now, hold on. Now, the idea of having more than one woman, you know, it does excite me. Yeah, the idea of it. But the reality of it, man, you know, I was raised by Black women. You know what I mean? I was, you know, I've never dated a white woman in my life. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the idea of being with more than one woman is yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. But the actual, when you actually get into that, of being able not only to take care of them, but to deal with these different personalities and to support and go through everything that they go through also. So when you talk about having 4 to 5 wives, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's too many.
For one man to deal with, that's a lot.
I would say 2. I'm gonna have 2 queens, not no 3, 4. That's crazy.
Right. Okay. I mean, 2 maybe, but even then, they've got to agree.
Yes. The women got to work.
That idea of 2 wives may not be bad, you know what I mean? But you would have to definitely find 2 extraordinary women who can come to understanding of what's going on, you know.
I got it.
But it's definitely, I think the compatibility, we have to get to know each other. We really have to sit down. People got to talk nowadays. We don't talk. We get straight to the point, you know, we'll go out, you know what I mean? We don't necessarily get to know each other in a deep sense of who this person is and what, you know what I mean, why I really and truly love this person. We go to, like you said, we go to these lustful actions and these temptational actions, and yeah, it can cause a lot of discord in our communities. You know what I mean?
Thanks for that word, my brother. Thanks for that word. And think about
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Be blessed, King.
You too.
Right now. Who tapping in next? We got a few more minutes. Who tapping in? Black on black, heterosexual love. We talking solutions. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? This is a good Black sister right here, all the way from the island of Jamaica. Sister Clarion, can you tap in? Where you at?
Sister Clarion here from Kingston, Jamaica.
Good. Why I can't see your face, Sister Clarion?
Because I'm not properly dressed. I was eating and you
Okay, no problem, mama. Shout out to all my Jamaican Africans. I'll see y'all January the 6th for the Maroon Festival in the Akapong Village. But Sister Clarion, I want you to weigh in on this. A lot of our celebrity couples are breaking up. We don't want them to break up. We want Cardi B and Offset back together again. We want Iman and Tayana back together. We want Corey and Tia back together. We want Papoose and Remy back together. We want Deion Sanders and his queen back together. But in your opinion, not just focusing on celebrities, but black on black heterosexual love, why do you think so many of our young couples are breaking up right now? What is the illusion that is leading so many black women and black men to abandon the love they have for the dream of a love that they think they will find?
The number one illusion is the internet, brother.
Tell me about that. The internet.
People are living more in the internet world than in the real world. And when they see things on internet, when they see the image and the filters and all of that on the internet, they are being lured. Their imagination is going to work based off what they are seeing and experiencing on the internet. And it's not real. It's not real. And we have to get real. Tell me another brother who is out on the ground, visiting our people all over the world, going into communities like Trenchtown, the way you came into Trenchtown in June, and will be coming back in January. Tell me another brother who is real, who is out here saying they love Black people and who's out here in the real world. Our people are sitting on the internet too much. They are not coming out in the real world for nothing. The spiritual people not coming out. They're sitting on the internet meditating. The people who say they're conscious, not coming out in the communities, not going on the ground to see the condition of our people. They're sitting on the internet trying to sell you a book, trying to sell you some sage, trying to sell you a masterclass. People need to get real. So in our closest relationships, the relationships with our loved ones, we're not being real because too much of what we're experiencing is on the internet. People are afraid to go out into the real world.
Wow. So you're saying we're living in a make-believe matrix of mind control by social media.
All make believe, brother. All make. We're making believe that we're conscious. I should be able to name 10 DR.UMARs who are building schools for our people. You're the only one I can WhatsApp. You are the only brother I can send a WhatsApp message to and he will answer me. Everybody else is fake, showing you how much money they're making, showing you the new car they buy from the donations our people are sending.
Yes.
Who else is putting down something in the real world for the next generation? You're not real if you're not dealing with children.
Yes.
You're not grounded to reality if you're not putting nothing in place for the future generation. So when you come, brother, I'm going to take you downtown Kingston and show you how the Chinese control all the wholesales. The Chinese are selling the food to our people. You're not real if you're not supplying food. You're not real if you're not thinking about how to supply the daily needs of our people, food. If another people has to supply the daily needs of a people, then we are not being real with ourselves. Why does somebody have to come all the way from China to sell me a pound of sugar in Jamaica? Why does somebody have to come all the way from China to sell me a pound of flour when I'm going to bake a cake?
Wow.
All the way from China. Because we're not real. We don't have men out here willing to put the work in to build with each other. We can't build for 5 minutes together. We have other people coming amongst us to take care of food, clothing, and shelter for us. We're not being real.
Wow. Let me ask you this, Sister Clarion. For Black women, because you know we're going to have a Black Women's Conference at FDMG, and we're going to fly you in because I want you to be one of the presenters there. When you talk to the young sisters, let's say I ask you and you accept to do a seminar with young sisters 18 to 25, never been married before, never been married, 18 to 25, and you're talking to them about making their marriage work with their future king. What are 2 or 3 things you would make sure you would cover? You would make sure you would tell them or teach them about making their relationship work once they find that king that they have chosen to build with? Where are the sisters? And then I'm going to ask you about the brothers. But when we're dealing with the sisters, what are the 2 or 3 things Black women are getting wrong just a little bit in the household with Black men? What would you share with those young sisters about marriage and making it work?
Once you make a decision to lie down with a man, that man is your king, like you said. You don't treat that man like a boy. He's a king. I used to call my husband, he's gone now, he's passed now, and I used to say, beg him, please lock up the store because I want to eat. I would never start eating before my husband came home.
Wow.
And when he came home, he sat down, and whatever he needed, I got my ass up and got it for him. Because I was home all day. So once you make a decision that this man, I'm going to build with him, that man is your king. That man becomes the center of your world. So whatever he needs, you give it to him. That's between you and him. You understand? There are things that he's going to like, he's going to need for you to do to him, for him. That's going to be between you and that man. And that's not for you to come and put on social media. That's not for you to come and tell everybody after the relationship. You have to be the kind of woman that even when this man is gone out of your life, you're still going to respect him. And he's going to still respect you because of the way you loved him. That respect. People were surprised when I broke up with my husband because of the way I treated him in public. You would never know we had a disagreement. You could not know that my husband and I were having problems for years. I was sleeping in a separate bed, sleeping with my daughter. No one knew. Everybody in my family, everybody was surprised. Because as long as I was living with him, sleeping with him, he's still my husband. He's still my king. And respect is still due to him from everybody in my family. Somebody asked me to borrow money. I said, I'm going to speak to my husband first about it. I could have taken up the money and give it to them. But I have to, we are one. I have to get the consent, the acceptance of my husband. Can I lend my aunt some money to pay down on a house? I'm not making that decision by myself. I'm not disrespecting my husband for nobody. I am not disrespecting my husband and making nobody in my family, my friends, feel like they're above my husband. No girlfriend gonna make me disrespect my man.
Wow. Wow. Now tell me about what are the brothers doing wrong, Sister Clarion, from your perspective? Where do we need to do better for the queens?
Listen, brother, we need more of you. We need more men who are about building community, like I said, and being in the real world. Life is not about bragging. You go out there as a brother, you make some money. It's not about showing the world, oh, I bought this new car. Show me how you're lifting up people. Life is about people. I am inspired by a man who is lifting up people, not by a man showing me how much money he made. You could be making all that money, but you went and you bought an expensive car. You didn't go and start a farm and say, you know what, I'm going to make sure everybody in my community eats. Grow some yam, some pumpkin, planting, sweet pepper, onion. And say, you know what, I'm going to make sure the children, there's nobody else. Do you know there are properties in Jamaica that rent for 10 and 20,000 US dollars a week? Nobody in Jamaica should be hungry.
Wow.
That's what should inspire our women. A man who is about building community, because when you lift people up, your house automatically is lifted up. Listen, if I'm thinking about feeding 200 people, if I want to go and deliver 200 meals, automatically my family of 5 gets fed. That's nothing to feed 5 people if my mindset is about lifting up 200 people. And we need women who are inspired by that caliber of men. Marcus Garvey said, where are our statesmen, our leaders, our men of character? They are so wanting right now. So when I see you talk sometimes, I say, boy, this brother deserves 10 wives. Whatever you need, brother, it needs to be given unto you because you're the only one out here on the ground. And it's 2024. Marcus Garvey left us over 100 years ago. And, you know, look at where we're at. Still only one young brother carrying the mantle. Still just one young brother. And there's still people, still our own people trying to bring you down. When what are you doing for the community? Community is the focus. Community is what protects us. Community is what stops a father from raping an 8-year-old because you know the brothers are going to come for you.
That's right.
And deal with you.
That's right.
That's going on left, right, and center in Jamaica. The babies, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds are being raped.
Wow.
Community is what protects us.
That's right.
The women and the girls, when the brothers build community, and they keep close to each other. So a man has to think twice about touching a baby.
That's right. That's right. Yes, indeed. That was my good sister Clarion, representing my Jamaican Garveyite family. Can't wait to see my Jamaican Garveyite family when I get there January 6th. Who tapping in on black heterosexual love? Peace and
Peace,
love,
brother
beautiful.
Umar. How are you?
I'm well. Where are you based at,
Peace.
Queen?
I'm based out of Colorado. I'm originally from California.
All right, you in Denver?
The
Aurora.
spring, so like an hour. Yeah.
Okay, problem. So what
Yeah. But first,
black love, my queen? Why we got so many young black couples breaking up? Regular couples, celebrity couples. Why we can't hold these young couples together? Sister Clarion gave us some powerful insight, and I want you
she
to
sure
add
did.
left off. What do you think? What's going on with black on black love in Colorado?
Um, honestly, black on black love, I feel like out in Colorado, all sorts of other stuff. But I think we deal with the same things that a lot of people deal with the interracial and all that stuff. And a lot of times I don't see our sisters doing it as much as I see our brothers. And I think a lot of the situation with black love right now, I feel like our brothers need healing. If we're being completely honest, we got sisters, they're out here outpacing everybody in the whole world, business wise, education wise, we look good, all these things. But I have so many friends that are successful, beautiful, single, you know what I mean? And it gets to a point where it's like our brothers need healing. They need man school, they need husband school, they need God. Yeah, I just seen somebody say they need God. And it's just becoming critical mass watching our brothers, because it's like, even if they are in families, if they are, they don't necessarily have the role models they need to become the man that we need. Because our community, we need our men to be strong. Black women, we are overwhelmingly raising our sons, so we cannot say it's giving Chloe Bailey, thanks. We can't say that the women are, like the women are somehow failing our sons. We can't say that if the men are leaving us, you know what I'm saying? And we can say, Kitten Hills and all those people, we're always talking about women and giving the causation with women, but at the end of the day, we're talking about grown men. You know what I mean? We can't control them to do anything. So it's up to them and just us as a collective, us as women too, you know what I mean? Like, I love my brothers, I like my brothers. I've been married for 15 years, and I'm not even going to hold you. It's difficult. Like, it's not easy at all. But I just think we as a collective need healing, but I really genuinely do think our brothers need so much healing.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and I can testify from a therapeutic standpoint, a lot of black men harbor a lot of trauma that never gets addressed because it's counter to the dysfunctional type of masculine definition that they have ascribed to.
That is
Some
so true.
of our men have a definition of masculinity that includes the denial of trauma. Also includes the refusal to seek professional help for that trauma.
You preaching right now.
And, for example, let's take erectile dysfunction.
Oh,
A lot of black men suffer from erectile dysfunction. Now, let me differentiate between the erectile dysfunction that comes from bad diet and disease. I'm talking about the erectile dysfunction that comes from psychological issues that are overwhelming your unconscious, which is affecting your ability to perform with your woman in the bedroom. A lot of black men who are suffering from unaddressed trauma are suffering from erectile dysfunction. I think our sister's live feed went out. Tap back in when you can, Sister Chloe. She has some good who else tapping in on black love? I got a few more minutes. Who else tapping in on this black love? We talking about saving the young black family. I am Phoenix Rising going once. I am Phoenix Rising going twice. I am Phoenix Rising. Where you at, beautiful Phoenix? There you go. Where you joining?
Hey, Dr.UMAR. How you doing?
Good to see you. Where you joining us from?
Tampa Bay,
Tampa
St.
Bay,
Pete.
Florida. I will be at Florida A&M is Tallahassee, right?
Yes.
How
Yep.
far is that from Tampa Bay?
It's about 4 hours. Well, 3 hours.
Okay, got you. No problem. Give us your insight on black heterosexual love, my queen. If we're going to save the black family, the young black family, all these newlyweds getting divorced, where do you think it starts?
So me and my girlfriends, we were talking about this, and I started to think about, how I was conditioned as a little girl. And I would say sitting in a movie theater, watching these love stories for about 2 hours, you see a man and a woman meet each other. Then there's like the climax and, they fall in love. And by the end of the movie, they're married. So as a little girl, you conditioned to believe that the way media portrays life and marriage is the right way. So you approach relationships the same way. And like the young lady before, I went to church. I started looking at the men and women in church, and I felt like, oh, okay, I can achieve that too. But I was sadly mistaken. When I got out into the community and I started, dating, I realized these movies are lies. You cannot meet somebody, fall in love, and then live happily ever after. Relationships are nuanced. And then I think there's a whole agenda in America right now when it comes to our men and our women, or young men and young women. I don't exactly know, but I know when we were growing up, we didn't see the level of, I would say, homosexuality that we see now. And I'll say it on an open platform. I don't think there's anything wrong with our LGBT community. I'm an ally, but at the same time, I think there is an underbelly. There's something else going on, something else at play. So when you have all that in the mix of people not, understanding reality and how to approach relationships, it makes it hard. And I say black men and black women too have a lot of anger towards each other that I think is unresolved trauma from our childhoods. And we step into these relationships and we start warring against each other. I'm right and you're wrong. When in actuality, it's just that little unhealed boy or unhealed girl that hasn't really dealt with the trauma. And so then it starts manifesting in relationships. So I said a lot, but I think it's hard. It's hard to find a man out here
Now let me ask
and a
you
woman.
a question. Are you a single woman?
Yes,
Now
I am.
you're a very beautiful woman. Why are you single?
A couple reasons. I have a son, who I feel I'm trying to protect, because I grew up seeing women get with men who they put the man before the child. And I was like, I will be damned if I did that to my son. I got a lot going on in my life. I'm really busy. So I use that as an excuse. And I've been single so long, I get annoyed very fast. And I'm scared, to get my heart broken too. So it's a lot.
I think that is true for a lot of single women. The need to protect the children from abusive men, and also to protect your heart from going through that trial and tribulation of another failed relationship. Does that keep a lot of sisters from venturing out to try to find that love?
Yeah.
It is. It think y'all
Yep.
a bit. Do you think y'all can exaggerate the danger a bit? Or do you feel that y'all fear is appropriate?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, so I think experience and trauma has a lot to do with that. So you may think something is a red flag when it's really not, because it looks similar to something you've experienced, and not necessarily having a good example of a man. You may have this notion in your brain. So when you meet somebody who is coming correct, it triggers something in you. You may not even understand that this is a good man because you've never really seen it before. So yeah, I think sometimes we do exaggerate the fear. There's also a part where I guess some of us feel like we attract the same type of guy, and then you're like, okay, well, maybe there's something wrong with me. So again, I feel like there's no blueprint to it. You definitely have to be open, but it's hard because you hear horror stories and you hear love stories, and you just try to find the middle ground, I guess you could say.
One more question for you. Great insight, Queen. I've heard from women that black men, many of us, that we are good in the relationship until permanent responsibility enters the conversation. In other words, as long as we're dating, going on vacation, spending time with each other, it's great. But soon when the sister says, even if we're not getting married, let's have a conversation about permanent responsibility. In other words, when are we going to start working together financially to cover these bills? You see, to build for the future, to go into a business to get. A lot of sisters I've heard says that as soon as when they start talking about collectivism in a long-term sense, soon when sisters start talking about permanent responsibility, long-term, when they want to give the brother some responsibility, a lot of men tend to bail out the relationship, even if it was great. At the point that she wants to talk about responsibility, they tend to disappear, aka commitment, responsibility, commitment. Has that been your experience? And why do you think Black men are so afraid of commitment if that is the case?
I would say, just being, I'm not a Black man, so I'm on the outside looking in, but I would say it was the institutionalized racism that has a lot to do with it by removing the Black man from the household. So therefore that Black son is relying on the mom, and he doesn't have an example of what it is to be in a long-term committed relationship. And like I said, you know, we've been brainwashed that by the media subconsciously, like things are happening like we live in a microwave society. So the first sign of trouble or trauma, we're out of there because one, we're coming in with fear. As long as everything is good, I'm okay. And to me, the value of love, you can't tell me you love me unless you've been through something with me. So when we go through hard times and we come out on the other side, that's to me the definition of love. Having a good time, making me feel good about myself, you're not really proving to me that you're a soldier and that if something happens to me, you got my back. But when we go through something tough, that's when I can see who you are. But most people don't even get across that hump because of fear of rejection, or they just don't have it in them. They haven't been trained. And, you know, nobody wants to be hurt these days. So I hope I answered that question right.
Thanks for that insight too, Queen. And FAMU Psychology Conference is March the 25th through the 30th. So if you're able to make it,
Okay.
probably they want me to stay the whole week. I don't know if I can stay the whole week. They want me to stay the whole week. I'm definitely one of the kickoff keynotes on the 25th of March, but I'm gonna try to hang around to the 30th. But try to come on up, and I might even try to get to Tampa too, because I was supposed to be in Tampa this week, but that didn't work out. So I'm gonna try to maybe do FAMU and then do. I didn't know y'all was 4 hours apart. I don't know why I thought Tallahassee and Tampa Bay was like next door neighbors. That ain't the case, huh?
No, it's a whole different culture too. But yeah, they're about 3.5 hours. Yeah, I'll try to make it. But if you can come down to Tampa, look,
I'm gonna try.
let me know. We have a great community of Black folks, and I'm gonna shout out the Dr. Carter G. Woodson African American Museum. We're in the
Ah,
process of a capital campaign with the Tampa Bay Rays, and so we're trying to be the first purposeful African American Museum of Florida. So if you get a chance, look it up. And if you're in Tampa Bay, check it out.
I'm gonna do it, Queen. You be safe out there
All right. Bye. Have a good evening.
right now. It's all about Black on Black love. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. If you need to reach me by phone, text message only, 215-989-9858. You can reach Dr. Umar by text message directly, 215-989-9858. International Africans, hit me on WhatsApp, same number, 215-989-9858. I also check my Facebook Messenger. If you want to send me an inbox, do Facebook Messenger. My Instagram inbox does not work, brothers and sisters. You can also hit me through the website, DrUmarJohnson.com. Montclair, New Jersey, pre-Kwanzaa celebration, December the 21st. Second day of Kwanzaa, Fort Worth, Texas, December the 27th. Phoenix, Arizona, third day of Kwanzaa, December the 28th. Detroit, Michigan, fifth day of Kwanzaa, December the 30th. Jamaica Maroon Festival, January the 6th. Brendan Depper protest, Bunnell, Florida, January 31st. Jacksonville, Florida, February the 1st. It's King Kong Consciousness. Let's build. Black men, let's love our sisters. Sisters, let's love our brothers. We must save the Black family. I hope you learned something today. Peace and Pan-Africanism.